Hi, this is Joetown, and you're listening to Delaney, Rocker's Edge Radio.
Hello, welcome everyone to the Daily News Rock Show on Rocker's Edge Radio and chaoticradio.com as well. Because today we have a very special guest.
We have singer-songwriter, guitar legend,
Mr. Joe Delaney of Joetown with us today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. This is awesome.
Oh, I'm so glad that, we were able to get this set up, So now you have some new music. Joetown has been around, just for people tuning in. Joetown's been around for some time now. His band started a long time ago. You started back in the 80s and you saw a lot of success. You played with a lot of them, a lot of different, main names out there, and you collaborated with them. And I know you played a lot of the big venues and all the Hollywood Sunset Strip and everything like that. So you've been around for a while, but we're, kind of fast forwarding, and he's got some new projects right now going on. He's got some new music for himself, along with working with a few other, big names out there on projects happening right now too. And we're going to touch base on all that and get to know about the new music that he's got going on. So tell us now, now you started back in the 80s up to now, and you have this big accumulation of music and a lot of history, with it, but you're now bringing out new music, and you're now revamping up Joetown. Tell us a little bit about that, like what you have going on right now.
So what's been going on now? I took a little hiatus just for my own mental health, to tell you the truth. Sometimes you got to take a break to refocus, and between that and kind of just making sure, getting a stable lineup of people and all that, there was kind of it's like I make an analogy to like a major sports team. There's you go to the playoffs a couple of times, maybe you don't win the Super Bowl, and there's a couple of rebuilding years. Yeah. So that's the type of thing that happened, and it's all for the better, because as far as the music, everything is fresh. As far as attitude and just positivity, it's great. So over the past couple of years, I've rebuilt the band, and also just kind of rekindled working relationships with a lot of people around that I loved working with. With the newest single, Freight Train, which is I'm sure kind of what we're talking about and kind of why I'm here today. It's kind of a silver lining of from COVID, because I was rebuilding the band, and just kind of got going, just basically, and then COVID and everything happened, and I'm like, I put a lot into kind of restarting everything, and a couple of years of transition and stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to let this stop me. So I reached out to musicians around that I've dealt with over the years, and just decided, I'm not going to let this stop me. Everybody knows how to record somewhere, everywhere, and I'm gonna get some stuff done regardless of this. And it was one of the best moves I did, because I kept moving forward, even though the pandemic was shutting everything down. Obviously couldn't gig, but yeah. As far as the recording, I finished projects that have been sitting on the shelf for years and years and years. Did 2 or 3 new tunes with different people that I love working with around the world. Ended up guesting on things with other people, because everybody was like, oh, wow, Joe's doing a ton of shit again. Let's, hey, you want to sing on this? You want to drop a track on this? So, it was, ironically, you'd think everything would slow down during COVID, but for me, it kind of like being able to work with people virtually around the world that I know, it kind of kicked into gear. And that was cool. So it's kind of a weird way to get busy, but I got busy during COVID, if that makes any sense at all.
No, I mean, it does. Actually, it does, because that's one of the things is that when I talk to different artists and I ask them, because it's such a huge change now to how you're able to record together and, and make your music, when so many were able to get together and jam out and do whatever. Now everything is so different. So that's one of the things I asked, some musicians, they really do slow down because they have to find that other path. They have to rearrange the way they do things. And it's not really easy to just switch your life. You've been doing something all these years this way. You know what? Let's just change it all of a sudden. And it's hard for some musicians and people to do that. Whereas, like in your case, you were lucky enough that for you, it kind of amped up, the creativity and being able, like you said, being able to work with different musicians from all around the world and not having to worry about needing to physically get together. You guys knew you had a different way of doing things, and you did it. And so for you, it's nice that he was able to flourish and you were able to get something out of it. Because if you're just tuning in, we're going to be playing Freight Train for you, his new song that he's got out. And he's just put a video out, which he recorded and produced himself as well. Because, of course, during pandemic, it's different. Like, how was that different for you? You just put out the video for Freight Train. And how was that different for you trying to do the video and, edit and record and do all that yourself? Because, again, you're not able to get with people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a media guy and I'm kind of a DIY type of person with a lot of this stuff, but the level of DIY, do it yourself, went into a whole new level on this. I mean, literally, I shot the video all myself. I mean, no one even like held a camera. There was no one else involved. So, I mean, everything was like setting up a tripod and staging it and doing it myself, or or GoPro cameras attached to microphone stands, and like really just and it was fun because it got really creative. Like, it's like, how the hell am I going to do this really myself? Like, no one even like with a camera pointing it at me.
Yeah.
So I used like 3 different styles of cameras in it to make it work, and a bunch of wacky attachments, but it's just like everything else. It was just kind of perseverance of like, I'm going to get this done and finish this stuff. And of course I rushed through the pandemic doing all this stuff, and then it takes a few more months to get anything out. So
of course. Always, we're all on pandemic schedule.
Yeah.
But that must have been a little hard to be able to, I mean, like you said, you had the creativity, but like you at the same time, if no one's behind the camera, you have to make sure you're in the right view. You're exactly where you want to be when you're recording it. And that can be so hard if you don't have anybody back there telling you, oh no, you're out of little view. If you take one step, you go out of view, things like that, so, but the video I think came out pretty great.
I blew it a couple of times. Like, I went and shot some stuff, and then I came back. I was like, oh no, it's like, it's, half my face I missed the whole time. And I didn't know. So there was a little bit of trial and error, but I mean, all in all, it was only like 4 or 5 little shooting escapades, and I got it. So it's kind of neat. It was fun. I'm really into the multimedia side of things, as far as the recording aspects in the studio and video and the whole bit. So I'm not foreign to it, but this level of like, okay, like nobody's going to help you, you're totally on your own, that was kind of,
yeah, because then you also don't have to worry about somebody else saying, you know what, how about we do this instead, and kind of pull away from the creativity that you have. You literally were able to put in your very own ideas and creativity, and nobody else can veer you from it. So that's kind of cool,
Yeah, I didn't even second guess anything. I did a rough sketch of a storyboard and idea, and then I just kind of took the cameras and did them one by one. I never, it always gets, especially I mean, if the whole band's in it, stuff is going to get second guessed. It's like, why don't we try this? I don't really like that. And I mean, it's a little over focused on me just because I was the only person that could be in it.
Well, yeah. So but, when they're not there, they can't say it. Oh well.
But I dig I just dig the medium of music video. I think everybody wrote it off for a while. MTV turned into reality TV show programming, and everybody kind of gave up on it. But over the past few years, I think the music video as like a viable thing on its own is kind of had a resurgence of people looking at it and say, hey, this is like a real thing. It's not just promo, and it's not just um, it's not just clips and YouTube and social media. Music videos, I think has kind of rebounded as a real thing again.
Well, yeah, because the other stuff with the social media stuff, that's to get the attention of social media for your site, for this, for that, and it's very small and temporary, But for legit music lovers who just want to listen to music, just want to listen to tunes, we're the types that I'll watch the videos. You don't even know how late I was up watching so many different of your videos, trying to because I like to research even in backwards, and I'd like to go back and listen to the music that was produced ahead of time opposed to now, because you can tell a difference in the growth a lot of times in that artist and the change in the music, so I like to be able to do that, so I have that comparison. So for me, I love watching music videos. I love seeing all that and getting into all of that, because it does show your creativity as well, not just in lyrics, but in visual and what you can imagine to put to this, what you want seen as it. And I just think that's great. So I think it is making a large comeback. There's a lot of people doing videos and stuff like that too. Even if they're adding in concert clips to show them playing, they're still doing something different, and I think you're right. I think it's, it's something that it's entertaining, especially now in the pandemic too. We need that visual release. We need that visual stimulation other than the four walls you see in your house, when you're in quarantine or something like that, and the rules, the way they change, they go up and down. You never know what's going to happen next month, so I think it's a really good idea to put both of it out, put the video out, not just social media talking about your music, because you want that visual to show with it.
I think it gives people an insight of what the artist is about more than a still or just whatever else associates a song. I mean, there's still something great about having no visual and putting on a pair of headphones and closing your eyes and getting lost in a record. That's cool too. But when you don't, that's great when you already know, I guess, when it's the artist you already know. But there's something about the visual where it's like you kind of, you're listening to the song and you watch the visual, and then it's like, okay, you know what? I get where this is coming from even more. So yeah. I dig it.
And in a way, it's kind of like also a little bit the same as what I like to ask artists is, like, when you were making this song and you were writing this song, what was it to you? What did it mean to you? Because sometimes it could be a little different meaning than what the listener is hearing, not knowing what the artist had in mind and in heart when they wrote this. So for you, Freight Train, when you wrote this and you were going through this, what was in your head? What was in your heart? The reason for this, what was behind this song for you?
Oh, it's just complete anger and angst on the state of affairs at that time. What was it, a year ago or a year ago or so? I mean, through the past year and a half, it's like that's where it came from, between the American, to political debacles, to just people's attitudes, and just kind of a basic degradation of society seemed like it was kind of happening all at once. And it really is just for lack of a better description, the song is an angry rant. It's an angry rant on just the average person just kind of getting the shaft in our society, and that's really what it is. The lyrics are pretty fairly clear on that. And, it jumps around. I mean, the chorus is just someone who just wants to just barrel through it like a freight train coming off the tracks, literally that. So yeah, it's it really is it's a frustration vent.
Yeah. And you can tell, I was listening to it a lot, and you can tell that it was that hard thrashing, get in your face type of sound, but again, I always like to ask, because sometimes it could be a different meaning than what initially first said. Now, if you're just tuning in, you're tuning in to the Delaney News Rock Show on Rockers Edge Radio and Chaotic Radio. And we are speaking with guitarist, legendary Joe Delaney of Joetown. and we are speaking about the new music that he's got out right now, which we are going to play. It's called Freight Train. We're talking about that. He's got a video out, so make sure to check that out after all of this as well. And now also just about the music, before we play the song and get into it, I know you have a great lineup of musicians guest playing on this song. Some of them I am familiar with their work as well, but please tell us about that, because he's got a great list, great lineup of musicians that you already love and know. So playing with him on this new music.
Yeah, so the musicians it's a great batch of guys. They're all well-known world-class players, but they happen to be guys, from my area that I've known since high school, all of them. So it's one of those things where they're all guys that you'd know and everything, but my reason for knowing them and going to them is like really the personal relationship, and I love their playing, and it's just the opportunity to do something with them. I mean, Matt Starr is a guy. He's he's in Ace Frehley's band and Mr. Big, and plays with a lot of different people. But we've known each other forever, and his earlier bands and his earlier projects used to record at my studio. He'd fill in for my original drummer. Do gigs with me. He's on other tracks through the years with me. So it's somebody I've known. I've produced him in his bands, and just like a real a long-term working relationship with the guy. So having him on there was just key. And then another guy, Mike Duda, that most people know from he's been in Wasp for, I don't know, maybe since 91 or 92 or something. He's been in Wasp for a long time, and he's also in a band with Dizzy from Guns N' Roses and Alex Grossi from Quiet Riot called Hookers and Blow, which is a blast, fun. But they're like a rock star bar band. It's pretty cool. But Mike's been my friend. I mean, literally since before I had my driver's license. I've known him forever, and
Mike's got some stories then.
Yeah, I mean, literally, he's like one of my closest lifetime friends. He's the couch I've landed on, a number of times. He's the guy that saved my ass, and vice versa, quite a bit. So he's a really, really talented bass player. So having him on there was awesome. And then Jimmy Bell, who is the guitar player in Autograph right now, but he's played with tons of bands. He's played with Geezer Butler from Sabbath, and played with a lot of different people. And he also he's also known for being the guy that was the other guy with Zach Wilde when Ozzy was trying to decide who to pick as a guitar player, and he ended up picking Zach, but Jimmy was the other guy. He is consistently, one of the fastest, most articulate guitar shredders on earth. There's really no guitar player that will argue that his technique and his execution is almost second to none. So, and Jimmy was my guitar teacher. When you're younger, you think somebody's a lot older, but now it's like he's just a few years older than me, and was the guy who was teaching guitar at a local music store. So I took lessons from him when I was 16. So and I've known him forever. I've done other songs where Jimmy has guested, different covers on compilations and everything. So I've worked with Jimmy a bunch, shared gigs together with him a bunch. So having him on there was awesome too. So it ended up being a collection of people. All of them I've known most of my life. All of my adult life, and it was just it was just an opportunity to say, hey, you know what? If I'm not going to have my current band in a room, everybody in the room, and hash it out old school, which is my favorite way to do it. If I can't do that, and I'm just stuck, and this is all remote and everything, then I'm just gonna make the calls to all my buddies that I know will do it, and do something cool with it. So that's what happened, and I'm really happy with it. It was a blast doing with it. Everybody played great. And I'm really proud of it.
Oh, I mean, it's fantastic. The song is fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be playing it for you, and you're definitely going to love it. We know our listeners, and we play a lot of that hard rock music, and you really get into it and stuff, and that's what they really like to listen to. I mean, now and then we do play the melodic sounds, and a little different here and there, but really that's the main thing that we like to play, and our listeners really like that, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. But I wanted to make sure that you touch base on, the members that you have playing, because of course, it's people that we all already know and love. All us rockers already know these musicians from playing with other bands, like you said, from Ace Frehley, with Matt Starb, I know his work and stuff. I've seen a number of his shows actually before, and him playing, he does play, he was playing regularly at the Whiskey as well, and
Yeah,
I get down there and
he was doing the jam night, and
yes,
he's played with a
Whiskey Jam
million
nights.
different people.
Yeah. So I've seen him a lot there, at those shows as well, and I really enjoy his music as well. So I'm really, again, I wanted to just touch base so that people understood who he's playing with as well. It's not just the new music, but it's the compilation of musicians that have come together for this new music. It's not just popping out of nowhere. It's you're gonna want to hear this. Now, again, we are going to play the music, and then we can talk a little bit more about the music on there. But right before we do, I also want to touch base on the fact that I know you have also been playing and just recently released more new music, but with other artists, and that you're the vocalist on a new song for a band called Bomber Alley. And We Get By, and We Get By. Is that the name of the song?
Yeah, that's
and
it.
then also for another band, Phoenix Rising, for Curse of the Sun. Did I get that right?
Curse the Sun. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Tell us about that.
I love working with people. I know, like the same way that the Freight Train thing came together with different people. I love what I do, and I love having a set band and the unit and all that. But I just love doing other stuff. I just, so like the Curse the Sun thing, I've known those guys forever, and they were recording, and they had the bass player who I've known forever. He had a tune. He hit me with it, and he was like, "Yeah, we're kind of stuck." He goes, "If you got any ideas, let me know." And I listened to it, and I was like, "Wow, this is killer." And I just hammered out some lyrics and stuff, and they had sent me like a rough of the track, and I was like, "I'm just gonna do this." So I had written something I really liked. I just went into my studio and hit a lead guitar track and hit all the vocals and sent it. And I didn't know if they were gonna say, "Okay, that's cool, thanks, we're gonna work on it and everything." And they were like, "No, we're just gonna use these tracks. This is great. You're on the record."
Nice.
So it ended up being like that, and it's pretty. They're like they're heavy doom, like doom type band, like like old like heavy doom, Old Sabbath, Symptom of the Universe type band.
Yeah, I've
So
actually
it was
listened to them. So yeah, you're on the nose with that.
it was really cool because I dig that kind of stuff, and my stuff is it's not as subdued and down and doom as that. So it was fun to do something like that. I think I might have brought a little of my excitement, rock and roll excitement, to them, and them a little of their heavy drudge into what I do. So it was really cool. And with Bomber Alley, the main guy who's the drummer, Talon, he's a guy I've known, and he's played drums for me before and stuff like that. And he was putting this together, and he was like, "Hey man, I got a tune, and I got lyrics, and I got some basic stuff." He goes, "Why don't you take a crack at it? And if it works, then we'll just keep doing it." And I did it, and I was like, "Wow, this really came out great." And it's rare on that because I didn't play any guitar. Like usually, like I'm a singer, but I'm a singer that like always has a guitar on. You know what I mean?
I was going to ask that exactly, because I remember even reading an old interview saying that for you, the guitar is just an extension of your arm. So, and I was like, well, if you listen to your music, that's a good.
Only a few times ever have I like just sang. I mean, it's always it's always both. Like I'm always playing guitar and singing. So that was interesting with that, just to be like I wasn't thinking about the guitar. I just hit the vocal performance and that was it, which was fun. And there's more tunes. There's 2 more tunes from Bomber Alley. One is done, one is almost done. So that project just keeps going. And I didn't have any, it's cool. It's cool when things like do well that you went into with 0 expectations. Like I didn't know I didn't know what was going on with that. And then all of a sudden I start seeing a bunch of press and people start, sending me emails like, what's this thing you're doing? And I was like, okay, this is cool. This is it, and I enjoy that. I enjoy doing a bunch of different things. So it's rewarding.
No, and it's really nice because again, I was getting information on that too, that, looking up all your information, but I was also getting information about Bomber Alley because just checking that out since you were on there as a guest singer and everything. And, we might actually have an interview set up in the works. We're kind of working in the works with Bomber Alley. So we'll be bringing you up again here on
Cool.
Rockers Edge Radio, which
Stay
is
busy.
awesome. I kind of like that because, it kind of shows small world, things come back around, and
Absolutely.
people really, truly love that type of a world. You really get people that, put their heart and souls into this. And it's people, for that, it's music lovers like myself and other people that it means a whole lot. It really does. There's a lot of people out there that we use music for our outlet in life. We use that for whatever. And, as far as anything that's going on in your life, there's always some musician out there who has written something about it or something similar to it because we're all human and we all go through these type of emotions, and if you can have somebody like, I can't write, I can't see, I can't sing, I can't do any of that. I do my karaoke stuff, but to be able to hear somebody else and put my heart and soul into that music because it relates to me, that I think is what really makes, the whole reason for this industry,
I mean,
does that yin and yang for everybody.
you touch on something big and people forget because there's so much content, but art is important. It's important for people. It's important for people at large emotionally. People just keep referring to everything as content, but like art is important. Whether it's music, whatever it is, it's like the human soul needs to feed on that a certain amount, or we're left kind of empty.
Exactly, because content is nothing until somebody fills it. So,
Exactly.
and it's got to be filled with something. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Joe Delaney of Joetown here on the DNR show on Rockers Edge Radio and Chaotic Radio. And we are now going to play that song for you since we've talked about it so much. And then we'll come back right after and talk a little bit more. So just give me a moment and we'll set that up for you. So you want to go ahead and introduce this for us, Joe?
Sure. All right. This is Freight Train by Joetown, and crank it up.
One, two, three.
Yeah, and once again, that was Freight Train from Joetown here on Rockers Edge Radio and Chaotic Radio. I hope you were jamming out with us because we're always over here rocking out myself. I was like, yeah, all right. Now, they're not going to see it on the visual part because we're going to cover up with promo pictures, but yeah, I'm rocking out over here.
Right on.
I love that. I love that. I like that in your face aggression music, because sometimes you need that, especially with everything that happened. Like you said, it's about that anger and about that, trying to get that frustration out, and I like that because people can throw themselves into that type of music. This is that, in your face music. And again, this was Joetown. Now he's playing again on this. He's got some heavy hitters. He's got Matt Starr, Mike Deba, and what was it, Jimmy Bell?
Yep.
Yeah, Jimmy Bell. There we go. I get my little reading glasses there for a second. So, and that's
I kept mine on.
But that's who he's got, working with him. So he's got a cumulative big names here for this song that you just heard and rocked out with us. And again, he's got other music with other bands right now that he's just released, and we've already went through that with Bomber Alley and Curse the Sun. So he's got those as well. So please make sure to check that out. And now also, I have a question because you have done so much, and I think it's really cool when artists give back. I saw that recently when you played a set over at Crystal Bell. Is that right?
Crystal Bees, yeah.
Crystal Bees. I'm sorry, Crystal Bees. And it was like for the first 50 people, you were giving out a Joetown box set.
Yeah,
I thought that was so cool.
That was the first show in quite a long time between pandemic and other stuff. So, I just wanted to kind of give something back. Yeah, it's that simple. I was like, hopefully it'll be an incentive for people to, make the jump and get out of their house.
Oh, I would have done it just for that.
Yeah, and give them something to listen to. Yeah, and I'll do that sometimes. There's the recording stuff and the music and everything, but then when you get into like playing live, let's be real, that's show business. You got to get people out. You gotta get people to show up. You got to have a good night. You want people to have fun. It's not as closed in this bubble of like recording or writing and stuff. People want to have a good time and they want to have a memorable experience. So stuff like that, hopefully, gives them a takeaway that is cool. And I've done that a couple of times in different situations, and I'm really it's really kind of warming after if I do that, and then I end up getting like a whole bunch of emails after. It's like, hey, I saw your set and I got your CDs and I love that song, blah, 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 that you played. And then I listened to that record, and then it's like, how come you don't play all these other songs that are on this record or that record? And it's like, I've done quite a few full lengths at this point, 5 or 6 or whatever. So I can't do a 6-hour concert, so I got to get choosy.
But I thought that was really cool. I was going to ask about that. Like you give little giveaways now and then like that, because that's cool because like you said, it's incentive. It's incentive for people to come on out. I would have myself, but I'm that person that I'll go. I want a box set, of everything, so this way I don't have to go through and accumulate everything. It's all right there. So yeah. I'm definitely one of those people that would have been like, well, we gotta go. Let's get there early enough to get it. So I just thought that was really cool, and just to bring it up to fans out there, music lovers out there, so that he's definitely somebody who gives back to his fans. And I think that's a really good thing, because not all artists do, but I feel when artists give back that way, then you connect more with your fans, because it's a give and take. They're there and they purchase your music, and then for you to turn around and give out a box set instead, it just shows that give and take in that respect. So I think it bonds, more with your fans when you do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, we've been doing really well since, I kind of revamped everything, and just kind of the attitude you're talking about it, just like trying to really deliver for people. And it's not just giving stuff away. It's just taking it so serious that if someone's going to take their, whether we're paying for opening up for somebody and playing for 35 minutes or doing a full hour and a half type thing, like, there's an honor thing in like in and giving it your all. It's like, it's like you pay whatever you paid to get in that night, you're going to get your money's worth. I mean, it's a contract with people if you want them to be your fan to like really deliver for them. I mean, I've never looked at it any other way. I mean, when I go to see a band play, I expect them to, at whatever it is, if it's a bunch of kids that are just starting to play and they don't have it figured out or whatever, that's fine. It's like you give it your all. It's like people appreciate that, mistakes and all. It's more it's really more about the attitude, I think. And that one, from my perspective, when I see crowds or I'm in the crowd, it's the same thing. It's the attitude that comes across as much as the music or what it is. It's just that sense of, the sense of like, wow, I'm seeing something that's kind of important, because why would someone go for it that hard if it wasn't at least that important to them?
Exactly. And you know what? A lot of us rockers that, go to those shows and stuff, it is a mutual respect. It really is a mutual respect. So when you really connect with that artist and you really appreciate that artist and that artist gives back, it just shows that appreciation back. And I think it makes it more respectful in that manner, And like, what would you prefer? Do you prefer playing like the bigger, huge venues, or do you prefer the smaller, more intimate ones?
I like big places with a lot of people, as long as I don't have all of the pressure of filling the whole room. Like, open it up for a bigger band and the place is packed, and just go and kill it and be that great support. I really do love that, because there's the pressure of delivering for the promoter and making sure there's enough people and was the marketing right and all that business stuff isn't there as much, because whoever it is, it's like it's their show, and you're just there to kick ass before them and really like set up the night so it's great. So I really love doing that. And then for smaller, I'd rather do that, or really small places where it's like I know I'll have a line out the door and there's no stress. It's that in between thing where it's like I'm not sure whether I'm gonna pack the place or not. That's where it's like it's a little bit of stress, and that's kind of a drag.
And again, that's stuff that I like to ask, because every musician has a different take on it, and how things go and flow with them and everything. By chance now, just people, he was, you weren't seeing the visual, but as the music was playing, he kind of grabbed a guitar from behind him and he was kind of playing along with that. Is there any way we can put you on the spot for maybe a little acoustic?
Oh,
you got those guitars all set up right behind
you. I got all the guitars. I don't have anything to plug in, but
that's okay.
I sit here and plink a little, I guess, when we talk.
That'd be great. Guitars. So extra little things like that.
This guitar's got nice. Some history, actually.
Oh yeah, that's nice looking though. Got some stickers in the back. Very nice.
This got burnt in a fire that I started.
I was going to ask if you have any favorite rock and roll stories, from the road, anything that sticks out of your mind, anything that you might want to share with us. Give us a little of that when you're kind of tinkering there for us.
The story of this guitar is kind of funny. It's actually in North Hollywood years and years ago, and I was with my bass player at the time, and we had taken a lot of mushrooms, and I was working on my guitar, and I was like, I want to like do a burn finish, and he was like, well, we'll strip it off first, and then we'll get a blowtorch. And I'm like, no, let's just take all the mineral spirits and throw it on it and light it. And I did it, and then I did that, and like splashed a little, and it landed on the carpet. So, and then the carpet caught, and like the first floor of the apartment started to like catch on fire.
Oh no.
And the valley fire department had to come, and I was like tripping and got scared and ran away. But then afterwards I salvaged the guitar and kind of sanded it off and put it back together. But there you go. And so
we
that
know
one got
how that guitar got burned.
yeah.
They got
The guitar, the guitars have as good a stories as I do.
right? If they could talk, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. So once again, if you're just
Nobody got
tuning
arrested. Hey,
in-
you know what? It's all fun as long as no one gets arrested.
exactly.
No
As
one
long as
got
you're able to
no
get
one
away
got
in
hurt. And
time.
no one got arrested. A lot of pissed off people standing out there out of their apartment for an hour until the place got safety checked. But it's all good.
You're like, hey, I kept it within my own quarantine little area.
Yeah. So, pretty
That's
funny.
awesome. So again, if you're just tuning in, rockers, we are talking with Joetown. Okay, we're talking with Joe Delaney of Joetown, and he's revamping Joetown. He's got music out now. He's got new music, not just for himself, but with other musicians as well for other bands. So make sure to check that out. Follow his sites. I know he's got some sites. You're gonna shows coming up. So you have some shows coming up. So make sure to follow him on December 18th. Correct? Is that a
December 18th? Yeah,
plug that show? Let people know where they can find you at, and where they can catch your stuff.
Yeah, you can always find what I got going on at Facebook or Joetown.com is the best spot, and that links to all my social media and everything. And the good part, Joetown.com also has like whatever the latest video or single is like right on the front page, so you can check me out really quick. If you click the YouTube link, then you can get into the depths of how much video is there. There's quite a bit of video over the years. Different music videos from every record. It's usually a mixed match of live stuff and concept stuff, and random covers that were cut some late night or whatever. And I put a bunch of stuff up there. I like more and more. I've been just trying to share as much stuff there. It seems to me like YouTube is a good place for people to learn more about whatever the band is, everything like we were talking about with video and just in general. So that's kind of how I promote the band a lot.
Nice. So yeah, definitely make sure to check him out. Check out the music he's got going on. Check out the December 18th show that he's got coming up if you can. We'll try to make sure we get this out ahead of time to promote that for you. And just be out there to support our artists. Our artists are really out there working their butts off to get music out to us. Even during shutdown, they were still doing anything they could to make sure to keep that creativity flow going. And for a lot of us, we need that music. Entertainment, like you said earlier, is very important. And people do forget that. And music is everywhere, no matter what. It's in a commercial, in the background of a it could be, a food commercial and you've got music in the background. If you're driving down the street, you're hearing everybody's music coming from their radios and stuff. People really do need to have that, whether it's a commercial for a show or anything. Music is everywhere, and entertainment is something that we really need to have focused for us, not just something in the background of a commercial. So I'm really appreciative that you were able to come on the show. You're able to
thank you.
Explain everything to us. Let us know about your new music, about Freight Train. I love it. It's in your face. Make sure you check it out. We appreciate that you all tuned in to rock out with us today with Joe Delaney of Joetown. And now, is there anything that, you want to give a shout out to anybody in particular, maybe that, or something that we missed on that before we do any closing?
Yeah, I guess the only shout I'd want to give, it's Freight Train is friggin' awesome, and all the guest guys are some of my closest friends, and they're all amazing world-class players and everything. But I want to give a shout out to the current band, which is Darren Yardley, Jose Lopez, and a guy Kerry Galarny, and those are the guys on December 18th that are playing, and they're all ringer badass players, and the band is sounding amazing. I mean, and there's a lot of things when you come to the show that you maybe, if you just looked at a couple of things or like just watch Freight Train, you might not get. Like Kerry is also an amazing guitar player. So there's a lot of two guitar player stuff that you might not get just looking at one song or another. And Kerry's also an absolutely ringer bagpipe.
Oh,
like
nice.
So there's actually like in the live show, there's actually like bagpipes, and like it sounds, it's like you know, I mean, you said the music's aggressive, like live, even with the bagpipes and everything. It's like Braveheart aggressive. It's like they're coming down. It's like we're coming down the hill at you. You know, exactly. So,
behind you running.
exactly. So there's the, you know, I mean, we don't face paint, but you get the idea.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. And of course, you know, after this, we're going to be playing his music for you on Rockers Edge Radio in regular rotation. So you make sure to tune back and check that out too, because we'll have that going. And even the movie music from Bomber Alley and any other music that you want, just send on to us and we'll definitely put it out there. That's one of the things that we love so much, is be able to, you know, help bring music out there for, you know, for artists, you know, just give them another venue to, you know, another way to put that music out, because we know a lot of our listeners really love to hear that hard music, you know, and we do get really great feedback, you know, from artists on there. It's like, oh my God, I love this song that you were playing. And who was that again? Or, you know, something like that. So it's definitely that give and take, that yin and yang. And I really appreciate that you took the time to talk to us here on the DNR show, Delaney's Rock Show, on Rockers Edge Radio and Chaotic Radio, you know, and just that you took the time, you know, to give us the information that we really love hearing it, because we like that rock talk. It's not just about the music, but it's about the artist and it's about the projects that you have going on, because we love to look forward to hearing new stuff coming out, you know, so I appreciate that. Now, do you have anything else coming out here, like any recent things that, you know, for just to plug up and a new music or a new something that's going to be happening?
You know, on the YouTube, on my YouTube channel, you can check. I'm always adding new videos of songs like throughout the catalog, like just to keep things fresh. I'll pick some song from 2 records ago and put together a video, and just I do a lot of that. So there's always new stuff there. And I think we're looking at February is the next release, and then there's another one in April. So kind of getting on a schedule where every other month, you know, there'll be something new, which is great, which is a lot of work, but it's great.
And that is
awesome.
Fantastic. And do you think you'll be traveling soon? Maybe, like, you know, if it's allowed, do you think you're going to be traveling maybe afterward to
I hope so. I mean,
shows?
yeah, I mean, we're right now I'm just doing kind of regional stuff, just in the we're doing like the van drive length of things right now, just because a little weary of flying, not from the safety issue of just like, you know, it's like you got to be at a gig and your flight gets canceled, then, you know, what do you do? Yeah. So I'm just going to stay optimistic, and hopefully things keep moving forward, and by the spring, you know, I'll latch on to some runs with some other like bands and get out there more. I'm ready to do that. Just need the world to be a little more ready.
Right. Well, a lot of us are ready. It's just, you know, the rules placed on us.
Exactly.
But thank you once again. And also thank you so much to Mindsnap Media Music record label, because you are the music that you're released on. Please give us that information as well. The music that this is all released on.
Yeah, this is it's available pretty much everywhere, and it's through Mindsnap. It's a group of people that I've been working with for years and years and years. I've released records for them, and they're releasing records for me, and it's great. It's and it's all put through Sony Orchard and everything. So I mean, pretty much if you plug me into the Google machine, you can find me pretty good.
Also awesome. Yeah. So yeah, and check out, you know, Mindsnap Music. They have a lot of, you know, awesome, you know, people.
They got a lot of, I mean, they have a catalog of artists that's really growing.
Yes, definitely.
So that is
you're one of our first from Mindsnap Music that we were able to definitely talk to and everything. And I was really excited about that. So once again, you're listening to Joe Delaney of Joetown on Rockers Edge Radio. Follow his sites, give him a like, you know, definitely, you know, check out everything that he's got going on. He's got a cumulative, you know, stuff going on, different projects, not just for himself, you know, and it's worth it because we really need that music, you know, so it's definitely worth it, you know. And thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. And don't forget, come back for more.
Absolutely.
Thanks for rocking
Thank
with
you.
us today.
Right on.
Stop recording.